Welcome to Mezun TV. We are at Moda in Istanbul, and I have a very distinguished guest with me, Mr. Jonathan Henick. He's the Principal Deputy Coordinator, Bureau of International Information Programs. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So, first of all, I would like to ask you, Principal Deputy Coordinator.
It's a long title.
A long title, and what do you do, sir?
Sure. Well, previously I worked here in Turkey at our embassy in Ankara, and many years ago I worked here in Istanbul at our consulate. But currently I'm working in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Department of State, where I'm responsible for a number of our programs that connect people with people. So we're responsible for trying to communicate our policies with foreigners, including with people here in Turkey, and also to build stronger relations between the United States and countries like Turkey.
And that brings the topic to education right away, pretty quickly, right?
Yes, it does.
And I would like to ask you about education, and our viewers are mostly very interested in studying in the US. And we would like you to talk about what would your best advice to our viewers who would like to study in the US?
Sure. Well, first of all, most importantly, we welcome Turks who are interested in coming to study in the United States. We'd like to see the number of Turkish students in the United States grow from current levels, to double or triple that number if possible. But we also realize that studying in the United States, applying to universities in the United States can sometimes be a very complicated process. The United States education system, unlike the education system here, is very decentralized. And so students have to apply individually to each university. Each university has their own different deadlines, their own applications. And so it can be sometimes very intimidating, an intimidating process. That said, I would encourage students to be persistent, to do their research on sites like Mezun.com, on sites like Education USA, and to learn not only about the top universities in the United States, which they may have heard of already, but there are thousands of universities in the United States. And so many of them may not be well known here in Turkey, but are still excellent educational institutions where I'm sure Turks would have a terrific time studying.
And those are actually specifically some areas that they cannot find in general rankings, and that they would really need to dig into specific areas of interest and then find those universities.
That's right. So if a student knows what subject matter or what field they want to study in, they should start with that and find out which universities have excellent programs in those fields. And some of them, you may be surprised. If you're studying, civil engineering, there may well be universities that have excellent civil engineering programs that don't appear in some of the top rankings at all.
What's your take on the use of consultants? You've been here for a long time, so you know danışmanlık in Turkish.
Biliyorum.
Biliyorsunuz. So what do you have to say there?
I'm glad you asked. I've been concerned for many years that there is a private industry here in Turkey, I think, that takes advantage of students. It takes advantage of the fact that the education system in the United States is complex. Some of these agents or danışmanlar, they charge a lot of money, and I'm sure some of them provide a very good service, provide good advice to students, but I think some of them simply take advantage of the fact that it's difficult to find information. So I would say to students, first of all, you don't need to have an agent. You can find information on your own through Mezun.com, through Education USA, or directly from university websites. You can also and also just be careful. There are a number of these agents or consultants that, in addition to charging students, they take money from the universities as well. And so they may not be providing the students with, the best
transparent
advice. Exactly. So I'm not saying that some of them I'm sure offer excellent services, but students should be careful and should do their own research.
And danışmanlar, actually, when you're talking about an agent, that should not be calling, an agent should not be calling themselves or himself or herself as danışman, because danışman means consultant. An agent is working for the institution, getting paid by the institution. So
that's right.
isn't it very unethical to call yourself a danışman when you're an agent?
Well, I'm not an expert in the Turkish language, but I think you're right. Frankly, I believe that normal ethical practice should be that if you're charging fees of the students, then the students should be your clients, and you should not accept fees from anybody else. If you're taking fees from the university, you should not be charging fees from the students.
Or at least the students should know about that.
Exactly.
You shouldn't hide that you're getting paid per commission per the student.
Exactly.
So this was amazing. Thank you very much for being a guest in our show. And again, we could have done this in Virginia. Both of us.
We'll do it again next month.
Next month in Virginia. I would like to ask you a final question. What would you add to our viewers? What would you like to add as a comment?
Well, if I can, I'd like to recommend that your viewers check out our new embassy website here in Turkey.
Just launched very recently? Just
launched in the last couple of weeks. It's tr.usembassy.gov. It's a good place to go for information about visas, applying to visas to go to the United States, about studying in the United States. We've made the new website. It's very mobile friendly now. So your students, many of whom I'm sure access the internet primarily on their mobile devices, I think will have a much better experience now.
That's trusembassy.gov.
tr.usembassy.gov.
Okay, tr.usembassy.gov is going to be the URL for this perfect new mobile web page, also a website. Thank you very much for being on our show again.
Thank you, Ali.
And we'll see you again in Virginia.
See you in Virginia.
Thank you for watching Mezun.tv. We'll be seeing you in our next episode.